Alright, this is a Pokemon video. This has to do with the Kanto Pokemon, right? The Kanto region, that's the first region of Pokemon, remember? And I'm going to tell you my favorite out of all those Kanto Pokemon. Um, and which ones I would have like in storage and then which ones I'd have, on my team. I'll let you know in this video. And there's 20 of them, right, that I like and that I would carry, But my main team, I'll let you know who's on my main team. I'll save them for last. They'll be my last six I talk about. These are the Pokemon I would have with me that I would try to catch, try to get if I could. If I lived in like the Pokemon world, or if I have like one of these games, right? One of the games you play for like DS or Switch or whatever, right? And I'm in the Kanto region, right? Venusaur, the number 3 Pokemon in the Pokedex. Grass poison type. Yeah, I like him. I know that he uses like a move called like Sleep Powder. I like to use that move, right? Use that move on my opponents, and then he could then attack him, hit him with like Vine Whip and other shit, right? He'll fuck him up, right? So then we got Meowth. He's a normal type, and he's number 52 in the Pokedex. I know Meowth is just, he ain't that strong, but I can equip him with like some nice moves that you think he can't do shit, and then he's like, he has like crunch or some shit like that. I don't know if he can have that. I don't know if he can use that move, but I think he can. Um, if it ain't crunch, it's like, damn, one of those moves. It's been a while since I played Pokemon, but I'd have him, right though. Like he ain't gonna evolve to the next stage. He'll stay as a Meowth. But I like that just for nostalgia and all that, right? So he's in the group. Then I have Golduck too. See, Golduck, he's a water type, number 55 in the Pokedex. But some say he's also a psychic type, you know. But he's mainly a water type. He was evolved from Psyduck. We know Psyduck was one of Misty's Pokemon in the anime or the cartoon, right? We then get to the next Pokemon on my list, which is Primeape. He's the evolved form of Mankey, I think. And he's a fighting type, number 57 in the Pokedex. I'd have him in storage, but he might get swapped out every once in a while, depending on the situation. He wouldn't be a part of my main six. Like none of these Pokemons I've talked about so far would not be in the main six. But they'll be inside my storage, right? I got Alakazam. Alakazam. No, not Alakazam. Hold on. We'll save him for last. Machamp. Machamp is in my roster, right? Machamp is a fighting type. Yeah. Fully evolved fighting type. He's the number 69 Pokemon in the Pokedex. Then I have Vapereon. That's an evolved form of Eevee. That's the water, one, right? The one that evolves into a water type. Fox or dog. Eevee's like a dog, right? So it's like a water dog. Then Jolteon and Flareon, and each of their numbers are, 134, 135, and 136. And I would have them in the storage, right? I have them stored up for, if I want to bring them out, I can, but I ain't gonna use them. I would put like, lightning, or Thundershock on Jolteon. I'll put Ember on Flareon. Those are some moves I'll put on them. Water jet, I'd probably put on Vapereon. And then I got Snorlax. I would keep a Snorlax on me. You know, he's big, dumb. He's, kind of tough though. He has a move where he can like boost his durability, so like attacks don't affect him that much. So it's, I'll keep him in storage. I might switch him out every once in a while with somebody else, depending on the situation. And he is a normal type, number 145 in the Pokedex. Then I got Electabuzz. Electabuzz is an electric type, 125 in the Pokedex. Electabuzz, again, he's gonna have Lightning Bolt, Thunder Shock, and then some like, I think he's gonna have some fighting, with like Punch. And I think that's what I put on him. He'd be switched out every once in a while. I also have Marowak. Marowak is a ground type Pokemon. Number 105 in the Pokedex. He's the evolved form of Cubone, and I just like the way he looks. I think he'd be a little, it'd be good to have in reserves. Arbok, the poison snake. He's a poison type. Number 34 in the Pokedex. Arbok. I think that's what Jessie, she had that Pokemon, I think. That was one of her Pokemon she summoned. Or she, called up. But that's a poison type. I might use that a little bit. And then I got Arcanine. He's a fire type Pokemon. Number 59 in the Pokedex. Oh my god, I got him in the Pokedex. I got him in storage, but I might bring him out. He might be somebody I switch out, right? Switch him out with somebody else on my main team. I'll tell you who's on my main team soon. Beedrill is the last one outside of that. Beedrill is a bug poison type. He's number 15 in the Pokedex. Beedrill, I would have. I think I'm trying to remember what kind of moves he can use. I think he can use Cut, Slash. Then he has some other moves, right? He's a bug poison type. He'd be a good one to have. I don't have that many grass types on this list. I had Venusaur earlier I talked about. But here's my main squad right here. My, 6 that I keep on me. They're out here, when we're fighting against other Pokemon, I summon them, to fight battles, right? Going to Poke battles with other Pokemon trainers and, the gym leaders in the Elite Four. This is my fucking squad from Kanto. So, we have Golem, the rock ground type Pokemon, number 76 in the Pokedex. He is one of my fucking guys. I'll equip him with Earthquake if I can, and Rollout. Those moves really fuck people up, their Pokemon up. I remember those in the game, and I'm just like, yeah, he would definitely be a fucking issue. So I'll keep him on my fucking team. The next person I'll keep on my team is Alakazam. Alakazam is a psychic type. He's a fully evolved form Pokemon. He's the final stage, right? And he's number 65 in the Pokedex. He can put people to sleep, is what I remember. So I can put a Pokemon to sleep and then call out another Pokemon. Unless the rules say, oh, you can't do shit like that. You know, you have to fight with the Pokemon you have out. In that case, you know, Alakazam can still, you know, box a little bit. You know, but I like the fact that he can, you know, put people to sleep, confuse them to where they don't know how to attack. Yeah, he's powerful. He's good at doing that shit. So I'll keep him on the team too. I have this is gonna be funny, y'all. I got Shining Gyarados at number, you know, 3 in my slot. He's in one of my slots for, you know, one of the 6 that I bring with me on my journey. Shining Gyarados, not regular blue, shining red. You know, I remember that from the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games. You know, and it's funny because he was in Johto, but he's a Kanto Pokemon, right? So I got him on my team, Shining Gyarados, Red Gyarados. You know, he's a water flying type, and he's number 130 in the Pokedex. Next, the 4th person I'll carry with me, and this ain't in any order, you know, I could have them, you know, in any order, but this guy is Raichu, you know, the evolved form of Pikachu, electric type, number 26 in the Pokedex. He'll fuck shit up. I got him with Volt Tackle, you know, Thunderbolt, I think Thundertail or Thunder Whip, Thunder Shock, you know, because he can have 4 attacks, right? Or 4 abilities, right? I would have him with all those. Yeah, he'd be, you know, fucking people up. We got Gengar for my 5th pick on my team. Gengar, Ghost Poison type, number 94 in the Pokedex. Like, just look at him. You know he could, and he was in that movie too, the live action movie. That boy, you know he could get up, right? You know he can really hold down for the team, right? I'd equip him with Shadow Ball, Vanish, doing shit like that, right? He can basically appear, disappear, and reappear. You know, slap the shit out of his opponent. I think Sucker Punch is another move I could put him with onto. Dark Crunch, I think, might be a move I can put on him. He's a Ghost Poison type. Yeah, Big Gengar's fucking, you know, he ain't weak. But last but not least, most certainly not, because he's my favorite Pokemon out of like all regions. And he's your favorite. It might be your favorite too. It's Charizard. He'll be the person I would like start the journey with, right? I'd start out with Charizard or Charmander, evolve it to Charmeleon, and then he would evolve into Charizard. And I'd just, you know, keep, you know, he'd be like my main guy, right? Fire flying, number 6 in the Pokedex, right? I'll put Ember on this guy. I'll put, I don't know if he can have Dragon Fury or not, if that's a move that he can use. Ember, I'll put Ember on him. Flamethrower. You know, maybe like some type of slashing attack. But yeah, Charizard's gonna be my, you know, main guy. And that's my Kanto team. And then all the Pokemon I'll keep in storage from Kanto. You know, the ones I would be after, have, you know, in my storage. And then I told you the last 6 that I talked about were the ones that I would carry on me throughout Kanto to go against the gym leaders, other, you know, people, and then to the Elite Four. And I think I could probably beat the Elite Four with that group that I assembled. But you let me know what you think about it in the comments. You know, I'll do this every once in a while where I talk about, you know, each region and do this, right? My favorite my favorites from each region, and then the group I'd carry within that, you know, region. But this was a Kanto, my favorite Kanto Pokemon. Let me know what your favorite Kanto Pokemon are the comments. It'd be cool if I on the corner.